Hi everyone, how are you all? So, you are watching Appa Chemistry classes, myself Nagappa. So, in today's topic is electrochemistry. So, it is one of the important topic for all competitive exams. You take either it may be mains exam or NEET exam or MSET or board exam or CBSE, whatever the exam it may be. So, it is most important chapter from physical chemistry, that is electrochemistry. In my Appa Chemistry classes, second chapter in physical chemistry. So first chapter I have completed successfully chemical kinetics with all example problems. For each concept I had explained you some problems also. So in the same way in electrochemistry also you are going to get the related concept problems also you are going to get. Okay, so try to watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so let's get into the video. Now here the electrochemistry is the branch of chemistry which mainly deals with the interactions of electrical energy and chemical energy. The name itself only we have. So electro and chemistry. So that is the relation between electrical energy and chemical energy, which is mainly we will discuss in this chapter. Mainly this electrochemistry mainly deals with the mainly these four factors. In this electrochemistry chapter, we are going to learn these four factors. Mainly we are focusing on these four factors. Now, what are the sub factors will be there in that? So that we will see later. Now here this electrochemistry mainly deals with the production of chemical change by passing the electricity. Okay na? So whenever you are passing the electricity through an solution, so which conducts the electricity, so in that case what happens, electrical energy will be converted to water. That electrical energy is utilized for the production of chemical change, and also by spontaneous redox reactions we will generate the electrical energy in case of electrochemical cells. In electrochemical cells what happens, so here chemical energy will be converted to electrical energy, chemical energy to electrical energy in case of electrochemical cells. Electrical energy. So how you are getting electrical energy? By spontaneous redox reaction. Galvanic cell, those all we will see in that electrochemical cell. Next is by using these electrochemical principles, we can prepare the new chemical compounds, and also by using this electrical energy, we can study the chemical compounds in a better way. And also by using these electrochemical principles, we can prepare the commercial power generating cells, such as secondary cells. Okay, now what is meant by secondary cells, what is meant by primary cells, those all we are going to discuss in this chapter. So that is batteries and fuels are comes under examples of secondary cells. What are the mobile phones which we are using that contain secondary batteries? So those secondary cells, those all we will discuss later. Now here, first you say, in the chapter we are going to discuss this one. So first, what is meant by electric current? What is meant by current actually? So current is nothing but it is a flow of charged species. It is a flow of charged species. Either it may be electrons or it may be ions. Okay na? So here current is nothing but it is a flow of charged species in a substance. Is said to be water. That is, electricity is nothing but flow of charges. Now the substance which conducts the electricity, that is the substance which allows the flow of charged species, those are said to be conductors. Okay na? So what is meant by conductors here? The substance which allows the flow of charged species through them, they are said to be conductors. So example for the conductors we know so many. So water, normal water, tap water, okay na, and also aqueous solution of acid spaces, aqueous solutions, okay na, salt solutions, etc. We can take so many like that. And metals, so we can take the metals and alloys. So these all will taken as examples of conductors. So electric wires are good conductor of electricity, you can take. So those are. So what are insulators? What are insulators? So insulators means the substance which does not allow the flow of charged species through them. They are said to be what? Insulator, which does not allow the what? Current through them. They are said to be what? Insulator. We know that if you want to, if anything is happening, any short circuit is happening, then what we have to do? We have to take this stick and we should wear the slippers, and we should with the help of that stick we have to switch off the whatever the switches are main button we have to switch off with the help of stick and by wearing the slippers, because slippers and sticks are what? Bad conductor of electricity. Those are comes under what? Insulator. So you can take the water, plastic, wood, okay na? So those all will comes under water insulator, which does not allow through them. So now here what I am saying, the current is nothing but it is a flow of charged species. Charged species in the sense we have electrons are there and ions are there. Based on the charged species, we have mainly two types of conductors are there. So types of conductors. Mainly two types of conductors are there. What are those? So one is electronic conductor, which is also called metallic conductor, So next one is electrolytic conductor. Which is very, very important. Electronic conductor and electrolytic conductors. Now, based on the charged species, we have two types of, based on the flow of charged species, we have two types of conductors, electronic conductor, metallic conductor. We'll see the differences, which factors affect on the electronic and electrolytic conductors, we'll see. Yes, coming to the types of electronic conductors, mainly two types, that is electronic conductors are also called metallic conductors, and electrolytic conductors, which are called what? Electrolytic conductor. Is that clear? So now, which are called electronic conductor, which are called metallic conductors? Here, the substance which allows the electric current by flow of electron is called what? Metallic conductors. So metals allows the current by the flow of electron, not by the matter. Say for example, it is an electric wire. So the current is moving from this end to this end. Is there any matter is moving? There is no movement of matter. Matter is same. But what happens? The matter containing electrons are moving. So such type of materials are said to be comes under what? Electronic conductors or metallic conductor. The substance which allow the electric current by flow of electrons. They are called what? Electronic conductor. There is no change in the mass of the substance. Mass will be remains the same. You can see the examples here. Metals like copper, silver, aluminium, iron, like that most of the metals will have the water more conductivity. And among this copper and silver, so which is the best conductor among all metals? The silver is the best conductor. Don't say that copper. So silver is the best conductor of electricity. After silver only copper. Because of more cost, the silver is not used in electric switches. Okay, na, electric wires. But whereas we are using in most of the cases copper. Because the silver is what? It is a good conductor of electricity. And non-metals like graphite and some organic polymers also. Now you see here, graphite is what? It is present in liquid state. Okay. So then it should be what? Matter should be changed. But what happens here? There is no change in matter. So here graphite will have layer-like structure. So then what happens in graphite? Each carbon is bonded with 3 other carbon atoms. Means the carbon containing 4th electron is free. That free electron will move from one layer of graphite to the another layer. Okay, na? There is a small distance, less distance between the layer to layer. The electronic displacement takes place from one layer to the another layer. Due to that flow of electron from one layer to another layer, graphite, fullerene, nanotubes will act as metallic conductor or electronic conductor. You can take organic polymers when they are exposed to vapors of iodine also comes under metallic conductors. And also some alloys also you can take. And solid salts like, which is very, very important, salts like copper sulfide and cadmium sulfide. will act as what? Here it is a salt. Okay, these two are what? Solid salts. So salts means we'll think that we'll get the positive and negative ion, so it will be shows as what? Electrolytic conductor. But what happens here? Copper sulfide and cadmium sulfide, they are having crystal defects in their structures. So due to presence of that crystal defects, they will act as what? Electronic conductor. When they are having some defects, then what happens? Electrons will go and occupy in that defect position. Okay na? So then what happens? Electrons are moving from virginal position to the defect. Okay na? So that is a defect is said to be what? White. That we will discuss in solid state. Is that clear? So here these electronic conductors mainly depends on these three factors. So what are those? First factor is the nature and structure of the metal. We have different types of metal. So it depending on the nature of the metal or not. Some metals are good conductor of electricity. Some metals are slight conductor. Some metals will not conduct the electricity. So now you see here the number of valence electrons present in an atom. Now you take the what? Potassium and aluminium, which is more electropositive, which can easily donate the electrons. That potassium, because it is more electropositive, you can take the what? Potassium contain only one valence electron, that is +1 it becomes. But whereas aluminium is what? +3. It has more number of valence electron. So more is the number of valence electron, lesser is the conductivity. It is more electropositive, readily it will loses. So that is potassium is more conductor than the aluminium. And also it depends on the temperature, which is very, very important. Now as temperature increases, what happens? Metallic conductor. So metallic conductance decreases. Metallic conductance, what happens? Decreases. Simply I will tell you, whenever we are getting a high voltage current, what happens? Our whatever the fuse will be there, that fuse will burst. What happens actually? The completely more number of electrons are coming, and when the electrons are more number of electrons, that is nothing but more voltage is coming, then what happens? All the electrons will collide. So the particle will vibrate at high temperature. When the vibration of particles takes place, resistance increases, conductance decreases. When the resistance is increased, then what happens? Temperature increases, resistance increases. Resistance is increased means conductance what happens? It decreases. As temperature increases, metallic conductance decreases. It is due to the vibration of the particles increases in a metallic solids. Is that clear? Next we are coming to the electrolytic conductors. So what are the electrolytic conductors here? The substance which conducts the electric current by flow of ions, which conducts the electricity by the flow of ions, charged species. It is said to be what? Electrolytic conductors. Now what are the example for the electrolytic conductor? Aqueous acid, aqueous bases, aqueous salts. These all will comes under what? Examples of electrolytic conductors. So here in electrolytic conductance, matter will be changes because ions are moving now. Here in case of electrolytic conductor, matter it changes, but whereas metallic conductor or electronic conductor, there is no change in the matter. Now in this case, so what are the factors mainly affect on this electronic conductor? We'll see. So first factor is what? Nature of electrolyte and nature of solvent and its viscosity. Now we have different types of electrolytes are there. First, what is mean by electrolyte we should know. So what is mean by electrolyte here? Electrolyte is nothing but the substance which allow the electricity either in molten state or in aqueous solution is said to be what? Electrolyte. So what is mean by electrolyte? The substance which allow the electricity either in molten state or in aqueous state is said to be what? Electrolyte. What is mean by non-electrolyte? We have so many electrolytes example. So like what? Molten sodium chloride, aqueous sodium chloride, aqueous acid, aqueous bases, those all will comes under electrolyte which allow the electricity. So what is meant by non-electrolyte here? In aqueous solution or in molten state, they will not allow the electricity. Such type of compounds are said to be what? Non-electrolyte. So examples are what you can take here examples. Have you understood definition? Non-electrolyte, the substance which does not allow the electric current in their aqueous solution or in molten state is said to be a non-electrolyte. You can take the sugar solution, glucose solution, okay, and also urea solution. So like that, etc. This all will comes under glucose, urea, sugar solution, okay na. So and also you can take the pure water is also non-electrolyte. Pure water or distilled water you can take. The distilled water does not have any ions, so it will not conduct the electricity. These also, why they are not conducting electricity? Because they not undergoes ionization in their aqueous solution or in molten state. They will not release as the ions. So for that reason they comes under non-electrolyte. So nature of electrolyte. Different electrolytes will have the different conductance. You can take here potassium chloride is there and potassium sulfate is there. Now you see here, now we have two types of, now which conductance is more here? The potassium chloride conductance is more than the potassium sulfate. Now and also it also depends on the what nature of solvent. We have polar solvents are there, non-polar solvents are there. In polar solvent what happens? The salts will undergo dissociation because the polar solvents will have more dielectric constant. So due to their more dielectric constant, they can separate into what ions. So for that reason, polar solvents are conductive what more electricity in polar solvent. And viscosity, the solvent viscosity should be less. Viscosity is nothing but thickness of the solvent. Okay na? So now and after that, what are size of the ions produced and their solvation? I told you now here potassium chloride is more conductive than potassium sulfate. Now you see here potassium ion, chloride ions are there. In their solvation we are going to get potassium ion and chloride ion. In their solvation we are getting potassium ion and a sulfate ion we are getting. This sulfate ion is larger one, so bulkier one. So bulkier one will move slowly. So the mobility of ion will be very slow. Then its conductance is less compared to this potassium chloride. Mobility of ion is less. That is what the size of the ion is increased and charge of the ion is increased. Then what happens? Its mobility will be decreases and concentration of electrolyte. We'll discuss more about concentration of electrolyte in coming classes. So next, temperature. Now you say here what happens at temperature. As temperature increases, what happens? Conductance of electrolytic conductors. As temperature increases, electrolytic conductance increases. Electrolytic conductance increases. What happens actually? Electrolyte will undergo dissociation. Electrolytic dissociation takes place whenever you are increasing the temperature. Say for example, I am taking the AB electrolyte. So whenever you are increasing temperature, so in normal conditions, say for example A plus and B minus ions are produced. But whenever you are increasing the temperature, what happens? The temperature is utilized by this AB electrolyte and the bonds present in that will be breakdown, and its degree of ionization or degree of dissociation will be increases. Electrolytic conductance increases. It's due to degree of dissociation increases. Degree of dissociation increases. Due to that degree of dissociation increases by the electrolyte, so electrolytic conductance increases. More number of ions will be formed. When the more number of ions are formed, then what happens? Its conductance will be increases. So that is most important one. Now here electrolytic dissociation, if you had seen, so initially we are taking one mole. After that what happens? At initial there are no moles of formed. After some time, alpha number of electrolyte, it is an electrolyte which undergoes what? Alpha number is consuming here. So alpha quantity will undergo the water dissociation, and alpha, how much quantity it is electrolyte is undergoing dissociation, that much quantity of ions will be formed. Okay na? So what is left over then? 1 minus alpha, here also alpha. Okay na? So then what is left over? 1, initial one is 1, so consumed one is what? Alpha. So then left over one will be 1 minus alpha. Here formed one will be what? 0 plus alpha alpha, 0 plus alpha alpha. So that is you will get the what? Degree of dissociation. What is this alpha? Alpha is nothing but what? It is a degree of dissociation. How you are going to get the degree of dissociation? The number of ions formed after dissociation by number of ions taken in the initially. So alpha is equal to number of ions number of ions formed after dissociation number of ions, number of electrolytes, number of moles of electrolytes before dissociation, electrolytes before dissociation. Okay na? So that is will gives you what? Alpha. So it is what? Electrolyte which undergoing dissociation and which is maintaining equilibrium, means this electrolyte should be what? It should be an weak. So if it is a strong electrolyte, say for example if I am saying NaCl, so NaCl I should write like this, only one arrow, that is Na plus plus Cl minus, because it undergoes complete dissociation. So it is said to be what? A strong electrolyte which undergoes complete dissociation and forms the more number of ions. It is said to be what? A strong electrolyte. You can take the acetic acid, so which undergoes what? Partial dissociation. So we are getting acetate ion plus less number of H plus ion. So it is said to be weak electrolyte. Its conjugate base is strong one. So then what happen? It combine with H plus ion. Again it forms the what? Acetate ion. That is less number of H plus ions were formed. That less number of H plus ions are formed in case of weak electrolyte. Less number of ions. Here strong electrolyte, more number of ions will be formed. So it's a dissociation constant of weak electrolyte also can be calculated, that is K is equal to C into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. If you are taking its concentration is C, its concentration is C alpha, then what happens? If you are taking dissociation constant, K is equal to concentration of cation and concentration of anion by concentration of electrolyte at equilibrium. It is a dissociation constant at equilibrium. So C alpha into C alpha by C into 1 minus alpha. So CC get cancelled, then C into alpha square by 1 minus alpha. So it is a dissociation constant of weak electrolyte. Now here as a concentration is decreases, then what happens? Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte increases. Means by addition of more quantity of water, that is nothing but what? The degree of dissociation will be increases. Whenever you are adding more quantity of water, the formed ions will be separated in large distance. When they are separated in large distance, say for example, if you added the excess quantity of water to this acetic acid, then what happens? Slight ionization, H plus ions are formed. When you are adding the excess quantity of water, that H plus ions are far from this acetate ion. So it is not combined with this one. Because interionic attraction between the ions is decreased by dilution. So when it is concentrated, when weak electrolyte, I am talking about weak electrolyte. When concentration is increased, then what happens? The ions are very close. When the ions are very close, then what happens? Both the ions combine to form again undissociated electrolyte, according to Le-Chatelier principle. That is what undissociated electrolyte will be formed at high concentration. So as dilution, when we are doing the dilution process, then what happens? Conductance of weak electrolyte increases. That is concentration is decreased, means conductance of weak electrolyte will be increases. So but whereas in case of strong electrolyte, as increase in concentration, what happens? So conductance will be decreases because the ions are very close. When the ions are very close, then what happens? The interionic attractions are there. When the interionic attractions are there, they will attract, they will not move that much fastly. When you are doing infinite dilution, you are adding more quantity of solvent, then what happens? The ions are very free. They can move very fastly. At infinite dilution, the weak electrolyte will undergo 100% ionization. Okay na? So is that clear? So the degree of dissociation at infinite dilution, alpha is taken as 1. Now the question time. Now the question time. So what is my question here? So say for example, one question, problem, most important problem. So in this problem I am going to explain 3 questions. Now here what is my question is sodium metal in a pure liquid ammonia. In pure liquid ammonia act as dash conductor. Which type of conductor it will act as? Either it may be electronic or electrolytic conductor. Metal is there, so electronic. Here liquid is there, electrolytic. Which type of conductor? Now to explain that, you see once here. So whenever the sodium metal is there, the sodium metal, when it is react with ammonia, then what happens? We are going to get the ions as well as electrons. So the sodium, whenever it is dissolved in pure liquid ammonia, it will loses the water electron and ammoniated sodium ions you are getting. Say for example, here X moles, this is X plus Y moles of ammonia we are taking. So X moles of ammoniated sodium ions, it is water. Ammoniated sodium ions we are getting, ammoniated sodium ions. Along with that, okay, ammoniated electrons we are getting, ammoniated electrons. Whenever ammoniated electrons. Now whenever the sodium metal is dissolved in pure liquid ammonia, then what happens? 2 compounds are formed, ammoniated sodium ions, ammoniated electrons. So electrons are formed, so it acts as what? Electronic conductor. So here sodium ions are there. Ions are there means it is act as electrolytic conductor. So it act as what? Mixed conductor. Both are there. So for that reason, the sodium metal in liquid ammonia is said to be what? Mixed conductor. It is said to be what? Mixed conductor. Both the conductors are possible in case of when the sodium metal is dropped in liquid ammonia. Is that clear everyone? So which is very important. One more question here. So the conductivity will be more due to sodium ions and also electrons conductivity. Now if it is when the sodium metal is dissolved in liquid ammonia, it gets blue coloration whenever it is observed in visible region. That blue coloration is due to presence of ammoniated electron. So blue coloration is due to what? Blue coloration is due to this electron, ammoniated electron. Is that clear? So sodium metal in liquid ammonia will act as mixed conductor. So why it will have the color? Due to presence of ammoniated electron. That's it for today's class. I hope so you have enjoyed the electrochemistry class. So next part, you wait for the next part. You will going to get the next part. We are going to discuss the types of conductors. What is mean by Ohm's law? I will give you a trick for the remembering of Ohm's law. And what is mean by types of conductors. Okay, electrolytic conductors also will have the resistance. How that resistance will depends on which factors, those all we are going to see. So thank you everyone. Have a nice day.